right, everybody. Greetings to you tonight, and welcome to everybody checking in. Hey there, Eric Wood, Elizabeth City, North Carolina. I also saw all the chats rolling. We're before us, as always. Thank you for the admonitions for people to like, share, subscribe, and prayers. And I think I saw another name. There's lots of names in here I'm seeing, but I want to Jeremy Teeple from Canada. Hi, Pastor Greg, and good evening, everyone. Sending much love and just saying, governments ticked me off today. Had to get that out. I'm glad you're feeling better now, Jeremy. Lynn Fireball and Mr. Harold, Mr. Baseball. Paul Kiss, another Canadian. There you go, Canadian, Pennsylvania. I did see it. There you are. David Ruth checking in from California. I want to give a big shout out to my buddy there. Stephen and Terry Olsgaard, we are working on the video for you guys from Marysville, California. Jane and I should be able to pull that off tomorrow. So welcome to everybody. Glad that you're here tonight. A full slate. And if you were in here earlier, let me flip over to another page here. You see a chat from Matsutsa. That's Pastor Zhenya sending thanks to the United States. Hey, Ashley Mahalik, God bless you. Rita Behrman, Matsutsa saying hello. Don Adams praying for those serving God and others from the atrocities taking place. Eric Wood, and then let's see, Matsutsa back here with us again. Love from Ukraine. Hello for Khmelnytsky, and then praying for Ukraine. Love you all from Greenville, Pennsylvania. Clifford Gilmore, I'll forgive the shirt. Thank you. I just came in from the night of worship, and I did not even have time to switch my shirt. I just went from one to the other. But I will have the right shirts on again tomorrow. Actually, I have my blue underneath. Listen, I'm representing. The blue is underneath, so don't worry. Actually, you know what, Cliff Gilmore? All right, folks, I'm going to drop this one on you, and I promise nobody else in the world has this. Let's not talk about Ukrainian. Now, if anybody in the world can compete with those, bring it on. That's the love for Ukraine. So thank you guys for all being here. We're going to get to it now. Let me give you an update tonight on Zhenya. Was going to be in here with me. He will be here tomorrow night live with me. He came in tonight and too much info. Well, don't talk about the shirt. Don't talk about the shirt. I've got tools in the toolbox. Zhenya will be here tomorrow night. As you saw, he's in the chat talking. Yeah, Mark Ramold, I know you'd wear them. He's in the chat, and yes, they're underwear. Yes, I mean, I didn't take them off. I'm still fully dressed. I'm just letting you know the support for Ukraine here. Oh my goodness. I love it. So Zhenya came in tonight, and I was just talking to him right now, 1 minute before we streamed. He's in here watching tonight, but he was talking to me from the dark, exhausted. He told me that he came in from being out doing what he's doing, and all he knows is he just woke up. He fell out on his sofa in his house, still fully clothed, everything. And he said he woke up sweating and just all, not sick, just exhausted. And so tonight, Zhenya is resting, and well, he's not resting too well. He's watching right now, and maybe he'll fall asleep during the broadcast and get some more rest. So that's where we're at with Zhenya. He will be back tomorrow night. But folks, we have so much stuff to talk about. I want to get to it right now. I was talking to you last night about how the Ukrainian forces are making a push towards Kherson. This is the opportunity to make pushes, because right now the Russian military is absolutely rearming, resupplying, resting. Unfortunately, folks, this war has moved to a longer scale war. And, you know, we want it to be over, but attrition is kicking in and the war is being extended. So right now, Russian troops, we've already talked about the Wagner forces coming in and mercenaries coming, et cetera, et cetera. Russia has rotated. They destroyed northern Ukraine, Zhytomyr, Kyiv region, Chernihiv over towards Sumy. It's just destroyed, folks. It's destroyed. That's why they pulled out and rotated, because now they realized Ukraine was very stout in the defense of Kyiv. So they destroyed, rotated out. It's a strategy that's been used before. And Ukrainian leaders are fully expecting another attack on Kyiv. But right now, Russia is resupplying, reorganizing. They're still bashing the east, bashing the south, and still sending missile strikes and bombings runs throughout central and western Ukraine. So the pressure stays on, but that assault there's a window right now where Ukraine is pushing back the lines some. They've pushed the lines out of Kryvyi Rog, and here is an updated military map today where they are pushing back into Kherson. You can see the map there. Russia controls the city of Kherson. They're controlling that river there, Dnipro, where it comes and it joins the southern Bug. But the Ukrainian forces are pushing back against Kherson. So we're very thankful for some pushes there. Quite a few things we're going to talk about tonight. It's unbelievable, some of the things that I've gathered today in preparing for the program tonight. And I've tried to this afternoon to put them into a logical order. We start with that push there in Kherson. Now, a report came out of The Economist, and the reason The Economist is important, this is not about right, left, or middle, but The Economist magazine and their journalism has done really a good job interviewing world leaders, interviewing EU leaders, interviewing personally President Zelensky in Kyiv, interviewing Russians, and they've really tried to present a balanced view of the war. And The Economist has come to the conclusion that our world is divided. There's a map here that they put out where the dark blue are the nations that condemn Russia for this war. The light blue are nations that kind of lean toward the West, which would be EU and United States and Canada. And then you have the nations in dark red support Russia. I mean, you know, nations like North Korea, Syria, Myanmar, Venezuela. I mean, that's some really good countries. And Cuba. Yeah. But full support, Eritrea out of Africa. And then you have a lot of Russia-leaning nations, of course. China, that's your major one. Of course, Libya. Of course, Iran, Iraq, Pakistan, and then all the gray nations, they are either neutral or no data. And this was all compiled by the end of March. So interesting way to look at it. But the fact is our world is divided. And a lot of that divided area is ways to support the Russian government. I've been telling you, been trying to provide data. Zhenya has been telling you, folks, I'm going to repeat it again. Sanctions will not work. And I really want to invite you guys tonight to hang around, because in just a few minutes, I'm going to show you a 2-minute speech of the former Belgian Prime Minister, who is now a European Parliament member. He dropped a speech today on the European Union in the English language. You will understand him perfectly. And he completely declares in such a passionate way what we've been sharing in here now for the 42nd day, and that is sanctions will not work. Intelligence update today is very heavy fighting and Russian airstrikes continuing very strongly around Mariupol. The humanitarian situation in the city is worsening. Most of the 160,000 people remaining, it's potentially down to 130,000, but somewhere in the range, have no light, communication, medicine, heat, or water. Russian forces have prevented humanitarian access, and they are likely pressuring the defenders, that Azov battalion, to surrender. Now, of course, we know they're not going to surrender. Folks, I know we have looked at Bucha. I know that we have looked at Gostomel. We have looked at Irpin. We have looked at Bordyanka. Folks, we have not been able to look at Mariupol. I have something I'm going to share with you in a little while. It's not video that's graphic, nothing like that. So there's no pre-warning here, but I'm going to share with you a fact and about Mariupol in a few moments, and it's probably going to shock you. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg from Norway made a speech today. So he made a speech in the EU, and also the former Prime Minister of Belgium. So I'm going to read you a couple of Jens Stoltenberg's comments. I have the actual transcript of his speech. He said this reveals this is prior to EU meetings that were happening today and tomorrow. He says, what we are witnessing reveals the true nature of President Putin's war, and the targeting and killing of civilians is a war crime, and therefore NATO allies are supporting the international efforts to establish all the facts, to investigate, and to make sure that perpetrators are punished. We see that Russia is moving forces out of the north to reinforce them, to resupply them, to rearm them, to rest them, and then to move them into the east, where we are expecting very soon a major offensive. It's not just NATO saying this, folks. Ukraine is saying it. British intelligence, U.S. intelligence. They are amassing a major invasion on the east and the south. Unless something happens, it's coming. It is coming. NATO allies have supported Ukraine for many years. NATO has also provided different kinds of equipment over many years. And of course, this combined with the courage, the commitment of the Ukrainian armed forces is really making a difference every day on the battlefield. So Stoltenberg said, so first of all, this war must end now. And President Putin can end it by withdrawing his troops and forces and stop attacking independent, sovereign country like Ukraine and sit down in good faith for a political discussion. But at the same time, let me be realistic. I realize that this war may continue for a long time. Maybe more, maybe weeks, maybe months, maybe years. But that is the reason why we need to be prepared for the long haul. And when it comes to supporting Ukraine, sanctions and strengthening our NATO, pay attention, NATO defenses, we must do everything possible right now. So that's Jens Stoltenberg with the NATO statement today. The UN General Assembly will hold a vote. Now, this is back in New York City. That is the UN, a picture. They will be holding a vote tomorrow on removing Russia from participating in the United Nations Human Rights Council. This vote is scheduled for tomorrow. Folks, it's just an increase of pressure. But you're going to hear something in a minute from the former Belgian Prime Minister. His name is Guy-Marie Louis Verhofstadt. Now, is that a mouthful or what? Guy-Marie Louis Verhofstadt, former Prime Minister of Belgium, current member of the European Union Parliament. He's like a senator. It's hard for us to understand how the EU works with sovereign nations, but kind of like a general parliament senator for the EU. He made a speech today. There was all kind of speeches with the European Union, with NATO. And this guy, I just want to say his name one more time. Guy-Marie Louis Verhofstadt. Folks, we've been saying this for 42 days since the war started, that sanctions will not work. And here, a former Prime Minister of Belgium and a senator, basically a senator, a parliamentary member of the European Union Parliament from Belgium, he lets them have it. And I've got it for you. It's in English. Here we go.
You know why your strategy doesn't work? Because progressive packages of sanctions with an autocrat doesn't work. That works with a democracy, with Democrats who have a public opinion, a real public opinion. In Russia, there is no longer a real public opinion. The reality is that it doesn't work because the fifth package is what? Coal. It's ridiculous. It's only 3% of the imports from Russia. SWIFT, the ban, ridiculous. More than 50% of the financial institutions are still outside the ban. And the oligarchs. The oligarchs, yeah, we extend a little bit to oligarchs. The oligarchs will escape finally the sanctions or lose a little bit of their money. You need to tackle the 6,000 people around Putin, the real people working with Putin. And we have the list. Alexei Navalny, the foundation of Navalny, has made the list of 6,000 people. These people you need to tackle. And so, I have a request to you. I'm sorry that I'm telling it to you because I think that for 90% you agree with me, in fact. I'm pretty sure about that. So I wanted to say that to Michel and to von der Leyen. In the name of this 2012, it's time to change your strategy. It's time to have an extra European Council the fastest as possible. And to go for the full package of sanctions immediately. So that you can really make a difference. All the rest will not work. All the rest will prolong the war. All the rest will be more killings on the Ukrainian side. And finally, a little advice to my friends in Germany. I think that after the horrors of the Second World War, there have emerged, I'm finishing, a strong and democratic Germany. A very strong and democratic Germany. But from such a Germany, I expect leadership, leading by example, and not dragging defeat, as we see it today.
Did he lay it out there or what? I'm glad I was able to provide that for you to listen. Very articulate former Prime Minister of Belgium told them straight how it was. And then he called on Germany. Says, come on, you remember World War II. You need to stand up and lead. It was an unbelievable quick speech that he made there. And yes, sir, it is a mic drop. So JDO, how can they remove Russia from the Humanitarian Council since Russia has a veto power? So Russia does not have a veto power on the Humanitarian Council. Russia has a veto power on the Security Council. In the United Nations, there are many different councils. One of them is the Humanitarian Council, looks at the humanitarian problems around the world. That's not a veto situation. The Security Council, that's the one, and that's the big boy. You know, this Humanitarian Council, that's good. It makes a statement, but it's not the Security Council. So that's why they can actually vote them out. And yes, that dude told it straight. Now, let me tell you what's really interesting about this. I want to go back here. So this guy, my hero here, makes a great Ronald Reagan-ish speech. But look at here, folks. He knows what he's talking about. Russia is escaping sanctions in Turkey. This was reported today. And I know it's difficult. Zhenya has talked about this with us point blank. I've spent so much time over there. I understand the Russian, Ukrainian, the China influence. We work a lot in Africa. We understand the China influence. And we understand the Turkish influence. So yes, China sent, remember 3 weeks ago or so, China sent Ukraine like sleeping bags, and they said, thank you for your sleeping bags, but we can take care of that ourselves. And China is still supporting, no matter what you think, they're supporting Russia. Everything else is just words. Turkey, yes, they want to pull and help through a ship, maybe get people out of Mariupol. Why? They know what's coming, folks. They know unless something miraculous happens over the next day or two, they know what's coming. Mariupol's in trouble. It's already in trouble. It's completely destroyed, basically. But they know what's coming. So they've offered to get people out. So we're thankful for that. Turkey has supplied weapons. We're thankful for that. But Turkey is a very unique nation because Turkey has not sanctioned Russia. And Turkey wants to have equal relationships with Russia and Ukraine. And yes, Turkey is a part of NATO. This is very, very interesting. So Russia escaped sanctions in Turkey. Russian business community discovered a loophole and will avoid the Russian economic sanctions by moving their businesses to Turkey. Turkey has not sanctioned Russia economically. Over 1,000 new companies with 100% Russian capital or finance were founded in Turkey over the past 42 days. And this is according to the head of the Turkey-Russian Business Council. His name is İzzet Ekmeksibasi. Folks, it's interesting. That's where we'll leave it. And that's why these guys, in the EU, this guy that we just watched, I love his name, former Prime Minister of Belgium, he's telling it how it is, folks, and this truly is the way it is. The United States today, members of Congress, members of the House Armed Services Committee, members of Intelligence and Foreign Affairs committees signed a request to President Joe Biden to increase military aid because Ukraine needs to win this war. They have put forth the documentation to the White House to send more Stinger missiles, long-range surface-to-air missiles. They're called SAMs. More aircraft. Well, we haven't sent any aircraft yet. How about one instead of all the ones we gave the Taliban? Unmanned aerial systems, drones. They want to help counter Russian naval attacks by supplying anti-ship missiles, tactical radar, increase the Ukrainian ground combat capabilities with Javelin missiles, artillery systems, armored vehicles, advanced weapons optics, spotting equipment, personal night vision, and mobile hospitals. We saw a guy that's a member of our online coffee shop. His name is Don Werner. His son, great kid. He works with Franklin Graham and Samaritan's Purse. He's just been deployed and I'm sure it's in Lviv in Ukraine, where he will be working in a field hospital there. So it's very important, and these things are happening. And now you can see, the Americans in the Senate, in the House of Representatives, not all, but a good majority are pushing. The writing is starting to be seen on the wall, folks. Putin's not going to quit. After the war crimes have come out and all the documentation, Putin's not going to quit. He must be defeated. That's it. That's it. He must be defeated. Question: Turkey sends ships to evacuate Mariupol. To where? Russia. We don't know. They didn't say. I don't think it's going to happen. It was just an offer. And yes, big thanks to Samaritan's Purse. They are legit. First of all, they offered to pick them up in Berdyansk, which is completely under Russian occupation and control. So it's just talk as of this point. I don't think it's going to happen at all, to be quite honest with you. So folks, the three cities at the bottom we've been following. Well, two of them, Kremenchuk and Odessa. Now I want to add Dnipro, Kremenchuk, Odessa, and now the city of Dnipro. Everybody loves the map, so let me pull the map up for us and show you where we're talking about here, and then I'll explain to you why those three cities. Odessa, and then we have Kremenchuk, which is here, and then we also have Dnipro, which is here. Now I'll roll us back out just so you can see, where these are located in Ukraine. And yes, this is Ukraine. Каждый область и Крым это наша тоже. So there is Ukraine. So these three cities, you have Odessa, you have Kremenchuk, and you have Dnipro. Last night or the night before, we talked to you about Odessa and Kremenchuk. The oil refineries, the fuel refineries have been destroyed. They lost 38 to 40% of their refinery capabilities for Ukraine. And remember, folks, the Black Sea and the Sea of Azov is blockaded. No, Ukraine has nothing. It's not happening. So the sea is blockaded. So now Ukraine is completely landlocked, and 3 now of their refinery stations have been destroyed. The third one happened last night in the city of Dnipro. Dnipro is a huge city. It eventually, the war continues, will be a major target if Russia wants to advance further westward. Silpo, there's a tweet here, and you do not know what Silpo is, but I do. Silpo is a grocery chain in Ukraine, a major grocery chain. It would be like, what's a major grocery chain here? I'm trying to think of one that's everywhere in the country. Winn-Dixie? Is Winn-Dixie everywhere? Safeway. Yeah, maybe Safeway. Good grocery store that's everywhere. That's Silpo. Silpo, after the third fuel refinery was destroyed in Dnipro, they actually tweeted out today, constant bombardments by Russians of Ukrainian oil facilities might cause fuel shortage in Ukraine. No fuel equals no food supply. And then they actually tweeted to Elon Musk, what about Tesla getting involved and sending us some battery vehicles? It's just people reaching out. It's serious. You've lost a lot, in all seriousness, a lot now of fuel refinery capability. I want to draw your attention. Kroger, thank you. Okay, everybody giving me the Kroger. Kroger, there we go. I want to draw your attention to Berdyanka tonight. Berdyanka is a city also in that northern region of Kyiv, northwest. let me, it's in the same region as Bucha and Irpin. I will just show you them all right quick. Let's go with blue. Let's go to the desktop. And right here, of course, is Kyiv. And then you have Irpin. You have Bucha. You've got Gostomel. And here you have Berdyansk. Okay, so this whole region here, it's gone, folks. It's destroyed. But Berdyansk today, the Russian military dropped bombs, and they're just the Ukrainians are now getting into these towns to see what has happened. The Russian military dropped bombs on 9-story buildings. Those people who were in the basements were buried alive. The Russian forces did not allow humanitarian assistance and shot at authorized rescuers who were trying to dismantle the rubble. We still, and this is Berdyanka, we still have a minimum of 200 unaccounted for lives. Chairman of the village council, his name is Georgy Yerko. So that's Berdyanka, and yes, that's a 9-story building. Typically in Ukraine, buildings are 5 stories, 9 stories, or 16 stories, and then they go bigger. And I can get you in the whole history of the buildings. In fact, I could teach you some night about the Khrushchevkas, a certain type of building. Pretty interesting, but we're dropping some Soviet history on you there. But the Khrushchevkas, very interesting time period in the Soviet Union, of which Ukraine at that point was a part of it. So you can see there that building destroyed, and yes, people are under it. Not only Berdyanka, I want to show you Gostomel. Report from Gostomel, more than 400 people are missing from Gostomel due to the 35 days of the Russian military occupation. The head of the military administration of the village, his name is Taras Domenko, said that the search for the missing people continues. They are looking for them in any possible place. That is Gostomel. This guy is either Australian or British or some type of English or that type of accent. He was there reporting. He's a journalist. I do not know which organization, but he put this out about 55 seconds. Everything's clean, no problem.
We've made it to the town of Borodyanka. This is northwest of Bucha, and somehow, I didn't know it was possible, but the devastation is even worse. I mean, look at that. That's an apartment building, just sort of chopped in half. The mayor says when this invasion began, Russia actually sent its jets over this town, that they bombed it from the sky, knowing full well that there were civilians here. And the great fear is that as Ukraine retakes more and more land on the way up towards the Russian border, that they'll discover more atrocities, possibly even worse than the ones we've already seen, because Russians were here for that much longer. The other thing about this town is that all you really hear is the sound of crows. There are very few people, because there's nothing for them to come back to. There's nothing really for people to have survived here.
And I think that is a very fair, descriptive viewpoint. I do not know who that gentleman is. That video was shared with me. But for sure, I think that's articulate and accurate. You know, you talk about these cities, and yes, we have a big plan. We're going to win the war. We're going to rebuild Ukraine. Sure, I believe it. I stand for that. But it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen in a year. It's not going to happen in 5 years. I'm telling you, these places are gone. That's what he just told you. There's nothing to come back to. And the concern is all the towns, the regional centers, the places that have been under the occupation and under the shelling that nobody has been able to get an accurate report of. The biggest one, of course, being Mariupol. Definitely British. Okay, thank you for that. Oh, he was on ABC. Thank you, Stephen Olsgaard. And yes, Matsutsa, did I drop the Khrushchevka or what? tomorrow night, you can tell the people what a Khrushchevka is. That's your homework. Be ready in 23 hours, Matsutsa, and you can tell them what a Khrushchevka is. Now, folks, I want to spend a couple of minutes here and pay some tribute here to Mariupol. Mariupol today, the DNR, which is the Donetsk People's Republic. And you say, well, wouldn't that be DPR? Well, in English it would, but in Ukrainian and Russian, it would be the N for the Nazi or the nations or the people. So the Donetsk People's Republic, the DNR, there is the official document. It is dated today. It is stamped, and they have officially put their own mayor in Mariupol. It's right there, the Donetsk People's Republic, and it is the official document, stamped, signed, and it is signed. And I'm telling you, every day I'm giving you the daily stuff. April the 6th, 2022 year. This happened today. This guy was placed as the mayor of Mariupol. Now, we've been following this guy. He's still kicking. He's still defending Mariupol. And I have a clip of him. It's a shorter one. You can see the tiredness on this guy. But we've been listening to this guy for 42 days. One of the brigade leaders there for the Azov battalion.
Слава Україні! На 42-й день повномасштабного вторгнення військ Російської Федерації я хочу сказати про любов та боротьбу. На сьогоднішній день укладено 5 шлюбів з бійцями полку Азов, які сьогодні боронять Маріуполь. В той час, коли оборонці міста перебувають в повному оточенні та ведуть запеклу боротьбу, тепер уже дружини наших бійців продовжують вірити, надіятись та любити. Я хочу сказати словами відомого українського пророка, що написав ці рядки майже 2 століття тому. Кохайтеся, чорноброві, та не з москалями, бо москалі, чужі люди, роблять лихо з вами. Те лихо, що вони зробили з Маріуполем, важко описати словами, бо окрім всіх тих бомб, що скинуто, всіх ракет додалися фосфорні бомби, які вони скидають на наші позиції. Не знаю, що ці виродки хочуть зробити з містом, але вони знищують все та всіх, що лишилося в місті Маріуполь. Ми продовжуємо боротьбу. За добу знищено склад з боєкомплектом ворожим та підбито 2 ворожих танка. Боротьба за український Маріуполь триває.
And there you have it. And you know it's today. He said, today, on the 42nd day, here is the update. Folks, these guys are amazing. But I'm going to tell you this. And Jania, if you're awake, you can... Greg, please grow a beard. Folks, this is a statement from the Mariupol City Council. The Ukrainian City Council. After the widespread international publicity of the genocide in Bucha, the top leadership of Russia ordered to destroy any evidence of the crimes of their army in Mariupol. A week ago, this is the City Council, not the new Russian government, pseudo false government. This is the Ukrainian government that still is there somehow in that center part of Mariupol, holding on. A week ago, we can confirm at least 5,000 dead in Mariupol. But given the size of the city, the catastrophic destruction and continuing blockade and shelling, we fear that tens of thousands of Mariupol civilians could become victims of the invading army. I know on the right that you can't read that, but let me tell you, those are mobile incinerators. Yes, I have documentation and I have video confirmed of these incinerators. They are in Mariupol and people are being burned, cremated to erase the tragedy, and the genocide. Does that remind you of World War II? Of course it does. Of course it does. We've been saying this for 42 days. We need to stop this. And the sanctions are not going to work. It is a scorched earth policy. And I'm going to show you something in a second. And we're almost done for tonight. I'm going to show you something from the Russian Academy of Sciences where their scientific, brilliant people think that Muslims and Southern Slavs, which are Ukrainian people, have messed up genes. I mean, genes. Folks, I will not show the video right now, but I'm telling you, I've been here 42 days straight with you. I'm not shooting you any line. I have the video of Ukrainians being put into the crematorium and incinerated. It is a known fact, and there is a direct statement from the Mariupol City Council. I'm very concerned for what we're going to find in Mariupol. That is why Russia desires to take it completely. They have to hide the atrocity. I'm telling you. And folks, this is very sad. I cannot stress to you how beautiful of a city Mariupol was. This is not a little town. This is a huge city. And it's destroyed. And its people are being incinerated. And that's a fact. I'm going to show you a 20-second clip of Maria Zakharovich. I don't know where Vich went, but it's supposed to be there. She is the Russian Foreign Ministry spokesperson. I'll let you hear it, and then you can hear Dmitry Kuleba, which by now you know. He's Foreign Minister of Ukraine. This was a statement today regarding all of the nations accusing Russia of the war atrocities. This is directly from the Foreign Ministry spokesperson. Her name is Maria Zakharovich.
Я обвиняю западные средства массовой информации и прежде всего американские не просто в распространении фейков и дезинформации, а в соучастии преступления в городе Буча. Ваши газеты, ваше телевидение, ваши обозреватели являются соучастниками этой карательной акции.
All right, I'm going to play that for you one more time because it's only 20 seconds. You can read the text at the bottom. I'm telling you right now, I understand her perfectly. The text is accurate. Blaming other governments, specifically the Americans, the media, the gazettes, the communication for Bucha. One more time. Make sure you're reading the words at the bottom.
Я обвиняю западные средства массовой информации и прежде всего американские не просто в распространении фейков и дезинформации, а в соучастии преступления в городе Буча. Ваши газеты, ваше телевидение, ваши обозреватели являются соучастниками этой карательной акции.
So, world, in case you were wondering, you did it to Bucha. In fact, it was the American journalist and the American, specifically, media and television that did the atrocities in Bucha. You see it for yourself, folks. You think that a sanction against this nation is going to work? The guy from Belgium told you it's not going to work. This nation, and not the people, I want to remind you, there are still wonderful Russian people in Russia. And I know a lot of my Ukrainian friends don't want to hear it, but I'm not Ukrainian. Только 50% украинский человек. 50%. Меня зовут Грицко. Grisha. It's just I'm communicating to them. Konechna, yellow blue. But, you know, right now, when your nation is being demolished by a nation, you don't want to hear anything like that. But there are some wonderful, good Russian people that have fallen under this evil regime of Putin. There's nothing they can do about it. Nothing. Zero. This is a dictatorship. This is Hitler 2. This is Stalin 2. We're watching it in front of our eyes. And when you see spokespeople and representatives like this, it just confirms to you the decision is made. This is what we're doing. You're not going to wake up in the morning and all of a sudden all the military troops from Russia have went home and they're negotiating in France. It's not going to happen. I hope it happens, but it's not going to happen. Putin's threats. Russia threatens Finland with retaliatory measures if it joins NATO. Remember a day or two ago, I told you Finland was seriously considering joining NATO by summer. Russia comes straight out, threatening them. Finland's accession to NATO would make it an immediate target for Russian retaliatory measures, says Vladimir Jabarov, first deputy head of the International Committee of the Federation Council of the Russian Federation. Folks, it's right in front of our eyes. It's not changing. I want to show you this place. This is the Russian Gritsko. Come on, brat. He's still here. Da, Gritsko. I know how to communicate наша культура. Потому что это важно, что я сказал. Тебе yellow blue. Vova! Greenville, Pennsylvania. Наш refugee. Нет, наш семья. Мы любим вас. Vova. How do you say Vova in the kind way? Vovichka. Можно солнышко. Красавица, Vovichka. I know you're laughing on that sofa there, man. We love you. Мы любим вас. Okay, I want to show you this, and we'll get out of here, and we'll see you in 23 hours. Translate that place. That right there says Gritsko. So when I made a statement about Russian people, you know, in Ukraine, a lot of these people have family members there. I mean, they live in Russia, and the DNA and the history and all this stuff goes backwards. But it's an extreme challenge right now, even for Christians. Let's just be honest, to have that love of Christ. And they do, and we do, when your cities are being destroyed completely and your people being murdered. So it's hard. So, you know, I made a statement about there are wonderful people in Russia. They're just held hostage by the regime of Putin. I said a few things in that language because they're watching tomorrow, the guys in Ukraine. They know I love them. And that right there is my slang name in Ukrainian language, Gritsko. That's what that says. So Zhenya's giving it back to me saying, hey, we understand. We love you, Gritsko, because it's hard to hear, you know, that. But we're here to tell the truth each night. The truth, the unequivocal truth. Russian Academy of Sciences. What are the Russian Academy of Sciences? And we're going to close with this and then one more story that's going to make you smile. The Russian Academy of Sciences is the network of research institutions from across the Russian Federation. It is their highest scientific minds. It is their network of libraries, publishing units, hospitals, research centers, and it is sponsored by the government of Ukraine. They were having a symposium talking about Muslims, character, genetics. I had the translation for you, just a short clip, but then you will see them talk about Southern Slavs, S-L-A-V-S, V as in Victor, Southern Slavs, that's Ukrainian people. Northern Slavs are Russian people. So as I show you this, remember, Southern Slavs, Ukrainian, Northern Slavs, Russian. This is unbelievable.
Коллеги онлайн, есть еще вопросы? Если нет, я прошу прощения, я все-таки один вопрос хотел бы дополнительно задать. А вот наследуются эти гены враждебности?
Да, конечно, конечно.
И они могут действительно накапливаться в популяциях людей?
Нет, ну это, как скажем, Дмитрий Константинович, это и на лисицах.
Да.
А уж у людей 100%.
То есть, допустим, агрессивность мусульман, она может быть связана с этим?
Да, ну, она обязательно с этим связана. Если человек не агрессивный, его очень сложно заставить быть агрессивным.
Я прошу прощения, это политический уже вопрос. А по южным славянам там больше агрессивность, чем
Да, да.
по восточным и северным?
Да.
Точно.
Северные люди, они спокойные.
Но до тех пор, пока не прижмет.
Ну, наверное.
Вот, спасибо большое.
Folks, I can't make that up. I didn't go over there and make them make that video. That is the Russian Academy of Sciences doing a symposium right now. I mean, not this second, but over the last day or so, talking about genetics of Muslims. And then you see the political conversation come in about the Ukrainians. And the guy talks about some famous scientist proved it that genes can develop in foxes. Folks, these people that are in this evil regime, I'm just giving you a glimpse of the propaganda, the media, and the power of it. They really believe this stuff. So we're here to tell them the truth and to share the truth. I want to end tonight with a good story. You see that guy right there? I'm going to make this one bigger for you. This guy is from the nation of Georgia. You know what, Heather? That's right. That's how you set the groundwork to exterminate. And that's from their highest academic science centers. I'm just sharing the truth every day. That's what we're doing. This is our home, and we're sharing the truth. But here's one to make you smile. Georgia, from the nation of Georgia, not the United States, humanitarian volunteer. Georgian volunteer shares his experience today, and this was today, April the 6th, 2022, in Warsaw, Poland. And I literally cut and paste his message. I quote, he says, I went to the Toyota dealership in the center of Warsaw and showed the specific cap I needed. The employee replied that they didn't have this part in stock currently, but they would be able to receive it in 2 hours. I told them, I am sorry, we do not have so much time because we are going to Ukraine, we are volunteers, and we are helping refugees. The employee, he went to the showroom, opened the new car, unscrewed the lid, and handed it to us. He didn't even take our money. Kindness is contagious. Glory to Ukraine. Shalva Buakidze said. How about that? Thank you to Georgia, to those volunteers, and thank you to Poland. For sure, Poland is a friend to Ukraine. Rose Gentilini, that is spot on, and I think, Rosemary Lozier said that. Where did Rose? Oh, I got so many roses in here. Only God can stop him one way or the other. Oh, here we go. God forgive us as a world for allowing genocide of this precious Ukrainian people and not stopping Putin from destroying a country and culture. Sanctions don't bring something. They don't bring victory, I promise you. Thank you, guys. Well, that was a full hour. Zhenya, thank you for being here chatting. You're supposed to be sleeping, young man. And do we have an update on donations? PK is in here, and I will get an update from him. He's watching this, I'm sure, with Vova and Lena, and we will get an update and update the thermometer tomorrow. Things are going well, and they're working every day, transferring the finances there and making it happen. Thank you guys, as always, and thank you for being a part of this family, being a part of these updates, and we're making a difference, I promise you. We're good. Right here, I like to end with this one. Continue to pray for Ukraine. Okay, we're at 75,000 plus. How about that for a quick update? We're over 75K now. Praise the Lord, and thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. Jania says, I got to pop it up there. The man's awake in the middle of the night. Thank you, Poland, and to the Georgian volunteers. Hey, we love you guys. 75K we've raised. Thank you. That once a week Applebee's meal. That's a good little thing to remember. We love you guys. Get some rest, and we will see you in 23 hours. Tomorrow night, we'll have the Matsutsa with me, and it'll be up-to-the-minute updates. And as you know, everything changes in 23 hours. We love you guys. Be blessed, and God bless Ukraine. Good night.